ask the question again.
Okay. I will just clean my hand again. So, as a person, do you think it's any opportunity for you yourself in this job?
I think I get personal satisfaction knowing that I'm a good force, and I'm working towards something where if I'm advising the government and other key players in security, the security of not only the entities that you protect and the bodies that you protect, and the corporate sector, the corporal, because that corporate means, an embodiment of different people. I think the personal satisfaction I get is that when I rest and I go to bed, I know that I've saved some part of the world, and it's very heart movement. I think it's heart moving. It's very noble. I think maybe I got that from my grandfather. I think because he was a very noble man as a soldier in North Africa, and I think it's something. I don't know whether you require the act of being noble, or is it something that you're born with? I think it's a bit of both. I think that if you have it around you, you think of the greater good. You're not negative, you're not vindictive. You're thinking, how can I look at the betterment of man? So looking at the, making the human person better. I think that is something. Maybe it is on a spiritual level. I think I am a spiritual kind of guy. I do believe that there is something greater after this life. Whether I come back to it or whether I go, to heaven, depends on my ideology. But I think I'd like to leave a legacy to some of the good stuff that I've done. I know that I helped a lot of soldiers in Australia to protect this nation. I didn't only do it to protect the soldiers, but I also did it to protect my family that were here. The good thing about Australia is there is about 140 different cultures living in Australia, and we all have family all around the world. And Australia is a place where you're living here, but you have you have like heart for other countries, so it means no harm to anybody. And we are grateful that we are a country that embraces with our neighbours here in Asia, as well as America and Europe and looking at Africa. I think we are an embodiment of what it is to be human on the planet, and I think we mean to help someone that needs help, and if we can do that, we would happy to do that.
That's a great opinion.
Yep.
So next question. So have you talked about challenge before?
The challenge, no.
No?
Yeah.
No, so what
I think the challenge in this job is, like I said, it's to keep you straight and direct. Sometimes you can overthink things. Sometimes if you overthink a problem, it may not be a good resolution. I think in the end we're looking at resolutions, we're looking at agreements and keeping peace. So I'm also a UN peacekeeper, so that helps. I believe in future nuclear and disarmament from The Hague. So I do believe in the Geneva Convention and other conventions that have been put in place, so that war doesn't happen. I know that is a dream. It can work to a point, but it, it, you cannot stop war. I think every family has its own conflictions. So the human being it's like having a big, large family, and I think if we could put things in place, I think like especially the UN is a good thing. I like it because it solved a problem with my nation in Italy. During the war, if it wasn't for the UN agreement, then we wouldn't have, I guess, the world that we have now. Although we do have, Germany wanting compensation for things that happened during the war, and that was over 70, years ago. And how long, is a long time, until they forget, what happened. I don't think they can ever forget what happened, but to forgive a country and a nation is very hard. But sometimes you can't tell your story, there's always, if you tell the truth, sometimes it can hurt. But sometimes you need to tell it so that it prevails. And that is something, I think this is a very, very personal question. It's not just a national question. I think, I see myself as an Italian citizen and an Australian citizen. I was lucky that occurred, but my parents, they lost their citizenship once they become Australian because there wasn't laws to protect dual citizens. All my children are dual citizens. So I'm in a nation for Australia and a nation for Italy. They are sometimes different. I've heard apologies from the Lowy Institute on my original nation, Italy. I have forgiven. Australia has provided us with a home, with a lifestyle, with food, with work. I'm very grateful for Australia. It has also provided my family a way of marrying into other cultures. I have family that married half Thai, half Chinese daughter. And they have so half Chinese, half Thai, and half Italian, half German daughter and son, having an Italian name but still having ancestors from China. And it is interesting family, but very beautiful, very good friends of mine. Also other families that I knew that were Italian and British, even though they were enemies in Second World War, but the union of a family with kids that came from both sides of that pole, it's it made life very interesting. So you can have integration of different nations, and it becomes, I think Australia is a country like America that is about looking at some sort of international peace type thing. Even what's happening now with North Korea and America, I see very good things there. I can see, it would be really nice if we did have peace. I think this would be a good thing. But it's not just a matter of keeping the peace, but being resilient and showing respect too. Because what I think is disrespectful is using using data or intelligence as a way of saying, if we don't go this way, it's like a blackmail to get that peace. You can't get peace out of blackmail. pieces from something that is innocent and is not corrupted. And there is, every nation has been corrupted. But if we have less corruption and more peace, more talking, and tell me the truth, hate me today, but love me tomorrow. We all bleed, you know. You cut me, it's red blood. You get cut, red blood too. We are all human. We all cry. We all, we all suffer. But we're all happy. We all, we all show human emotion. And I think if you have that data, I think that's something that you can really look at. I think when you've got data on people, it's how you control it. Make the right decision, make an executive decision, but also make sure that what you use that data for, make sure that it prevails and actually helps with the legal system, but also brings out the truth. If they are mean, can they change? Can you change a mean entity? If they are a good entity or a bad entity, can entities change over time? Do they stay the same? I think every generation wants to learn from bad mistakes, but I think we should all look for future and trade. I believe trading is the solution to many conflicts and wars. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.